Hi guys, in this video we will see how to create a simple authentication scheme in a Phoenix application. So what I've already done is I've created a new Phoenix application called blog, and let me cd into that blog application and open a new session. So here these are the things I want to be able to do in my application. I want a normal user to be able to register themselves. I want a signed in admin. So I want an admin to be able to create blog posts, and I want a normal user to be able to add comments to our blog. So let's get started. Now, for us to have this functionality, uh, we need a users table with the necessary information. So uh, the easiest thing to do here is create a users table and make it have make it have an email field and an encrypted password field and a role, which could be uh, admin or user. So these are the important things we need in our users table. So let's do that. Let's create. So let me create an initial commit. Now we need to create a user model. So to do that, we can use the Phoenix generator for model. So I want to create a user with the users table, and it should have an email, a string, encrypted password as a string, and a role as another string. So this looks good. Now let's actually create the database and do the migration. So once we have this, we want we we want the users to be able to register themselves, right? So let's do that. Now to allow users to be able to register themselves, we need a /register path where a user can go and enter their details. So for that, let's create a controller in the web controllers folder. So this is going to be the registration controller, and it's gonna so bad habits, registration controller of the blog, and it's gonna so uh, when a user wants to register themselves, they would come to the new action. So we would have a new action, and this guy would render a view called new, and in that new view we would take a few details. So and we need to wire up the path. So open up the router and set up a route which takes register new to, actually we don't need a register new, we could just say register should go to the register controllers new action. And while we are here, let's even create a post register which should go to the create action. Okay, and let's even add a create action, okay, which we are going to flesh out in a minute. All right, so now that we have a new action, we need to create a new view. So let's do that. I'm sorry, we need to create a registration view. So web views, registration view, and it's gonna be the registration view module. So blog dot and use blog dot web as a view, right? That's good. Finally, we need to create a template called registration new HTML EEX, right? So let's get here and say um, register. Yeah, so that's good. And what we need here is we need a form, right? So what we need in this form, so let's say form for, and it's gonna go to the register URL, and the name is gonna be sign up, or register. Let's just say register, and finally we need to end that. And so this is going to take a text input called email, and we need a password input called password, right? And finally we need a submit button, so we'll call this submit register, right? So everything looks good. Now let's go to our browser and browse to our /register page, and this looks good, right? And let me put a few line breaks here, and yeah, and say placeholder is email, and this is the password, right? So looks good. Now I'm gonna say user@mailinated.com, please. So as soon as we hit register, what we want to do is create the user. So let's go back to the users controller, and sorry, the registration controller. And so whenever we submit the form, it's going to go here and it's going to hit this code. So what we need to do here is we need to do some pattern matching and get the email and password. So I can just get these like that. These are the register params, or we could do another match here and say this is the email and this is the password. Okay, and finally what we need to do is we need to create the user here, right? And then sign them in, right? So how do we create the user? We need to use the repo for that. So blog.repo.insert, and we need to give it a user or a user change set. So we could say user dot change set, hang on, so blog dot user dot change set, and let's get in there, and that looks good. Change set takes a user, and actually we could just yeah, so here we're gonna say email is email, and actually we'll make this simpler. I'll say register params, and register params, and we're inserting this change set here. We are inserting this change set here, so let's do that, and let's take a look at the documentation for insert. So insert takes a few things, but it returns an OK model or an error change set. So here we can say case when insert is successful, it's going to give us a tuple with OK user, and if it fails, it's going to give us error and the change set, right? So if it is successful, we just need to sign in the user. So for now, let's not do anything and just redirect the user to the root path, and if there is an error, um, we'll we'll need to add an error to the flash and redirect the user. uh, well, actually we could just render the new view, right? So that should be it. And let me format this properly. So this looks good, right? And finally, yeah, that looks good. Right, let's try this out. So I've entered the user millinator email and password, and so there's actually going to be a problem here because user doesn't have a password column. It has something called an encrypted password. So what we'll do is uh, we'll create a field called password and say it is a virtual field, okay? Because it's not saved in the database. It's kind of a virtual field, yeah. So it's not saved in the database. It's just an ephemeral field where it is stored in the struct, and uh, you can use it to pass information along. So what we want to do here is after the cast, we want to take the change set and encrypt the password, right? Uh, so we'll say uh, encrypt the password, right? So encrypt the password. So we need to have a method called encrypt password, which takes a change set and returns a change set. But while doing it, it takes the password and encrypts it. So in this case, we're going to make the encryption very simple. We'll just use a simple function. So let's see, base encode awesome base encode 32 awesome. So this is not really an encryption function, it just encodes a string. So we're just going to use that, just to get it working. So base encode 32, and does it return? Yeah, it just returns a string. So what we need to do is, let me close this, and what we need to do is get the current password, right? The plain text password. And the way you can get that is if you can use a change set to get that. So from get change, what's the name of the method there? So let's see, ecto dot change set dot get change is a method which takes a change set and takes a key name. So we want to get the password out of it, right? So now we have the password. We need to encrypt that, and we need to put it. So there is a method called putChange, which allows us to update a change set. So what we need to do is the encrypted password, right? So what we need to do is put change in the change set, and what we need to do is we need to put the encrypted password into the change set, right? So that's it. So that's what we need to do. Okay, so this looks good. The only issue here is this is not really encryption, but we are going to come back and fix that in a minute. Okay, so let's try this out. So I'm gonna hit register, and there's a problem. It says undefined function put change. Okay, so let's fix that and try to submit. And user struct. Okay. All right. So we need to say this needs an alias for user, and we need an alias for user even here, right? And let's try that again. No function clause matching base encode 32. So base encode 32 takes a password. Now get change. So let's see. So I think let's look at the documentation of get change. So get change does give a single string. Get change does give a single string. And base encode 32 is supposed to work on a string. But what seems to be the problem here? Base encode 32 password. So it says no function clause base encode 32.2. Why is it taking? So let's see. So IO. Let's inspect our password here, and let's run this guy once again in IEX. So base encode 32 and pass it a string. It works, right? It's supposed to work. And so let's log that and see what we get. So okay, so it's giving us a nil, and that's what's causing our issue. So get change password is nil because this is a string. I think that's the problem. Get change, no function clause. Alright, what's going on here? Get change set. Let's try it out. Let's actually try this out. We have a change set here. So so change set is this. What is a change set? We have user change set is, and register params is a map containing password test, right? So blog. So we forgot an alias again, and something's wrong. No function clause matching. Okay, so which line is this? This is on user line number 31. User line number 31. Get change set. So why does it think that this get change is getting get change? All right, let's look at the documentation one more time. Ecto change set get change. So it takes a change set and a key as a symbol. So that's not our problem. So let's put an IO inspect change set here. Okay. And check out what's going on. So IO inspect change set. This change set doesn't have a password. Why doesn't it have a password? Oh boy. Register password. This looks good. Alright, so let's give it a password, and still a problem. So here we see that we have a few required fields and a few optional fields. So required fields, we forgot to add password to our required fields. That's why it wasn't being uh, added to the changes. What a simple mistake. All right, let's check this now. So it seems like it worked. And if we look at our IEX console, check out blog.repo.all users, right? We do have that user, and the encrypted password shows something which is encoded, right? But this is not really encryption. We need to use proper encryption for this, and there is a package called come on in, and this has a very nice bcrypt function which can be used to hash your passwords. So to use this, we need to add this to our dependencies. So let's do that. Go to our dependencies, add it right there, and we need to even add it to our applications. So add it to our applications right here. Say come on in, and once we do that, we can use the come on in bcrypt function. So let's restart this guy. So there's a problem here. Come on in needs a comma at the end, and we need to get the dependencies, and once we have them, we can, okay boy. So all right, so let's check our so let me start ourselves. So come on in has a method called bcrypt dot hash password. Okay, so if you look at this method, it takes a password and gives us the password with a randomly generated salt. Okay, so this is what we need to use. So when doing the encryption, instead of using base encode 32, we need to use come on in bcrypt dot hash password salt. Okay, so this takes a password and gives us an encrypted password. So if we try it out, this guy, if we say please, it gives us a salt and a hash. So we can just store this in our password, encrypted password, and that should that should take care of our encryption, right? So let's fix this, and let's try to register once again. So go to register, say a@mailinator.com please, and now if we look at all our users, if we look at blog.repo.all blog.user, we'll see we have a new user whose email is a@mailinator, and the password is it has a salt and a hash. So to show it quickly, come on in, if I say come on in bcrypt hash password salt please, it gives me a different salt, and so the whole string changes because the salt changes. Okay, so now we know that the password is please. To test this out, what we can do is let's get all the users and get the last guy out of there. So enum.last, this is our user. All right, enum dot, or is there a list dot last? Yeah, so say list dot last, right? That's our user. To verify that this password matches, please, the way we do that is we say come on in, uh, pcrypt, and there's a method called check password, which takes a password and a hash. So we know that the password is please, so please, and the encrypted password is user encrypted password. So if you give this to that guy, it says it's true, right? This says it, the password matches. If you change the password, it's going to give us false. So that's how we encrypt it and store it. In the next video, we'll take a look at how to actually remember this in a session and authenticate it on all actions. So that's it for this episode, guys. Just hang in there, and we'll take a look at the rest.